philosophers hate women. I've actually never heard of this theory before. What is this?
What's up? Do you want to be a philosophy major? Are you considering it? Let's have a chat. I am one at UCLA.
What if I told you that all of our favorite philosophers are men and all of them are extremely sexist?
Women are not made of the higher sciences. They may be educated, but they cannot reach the depths of philosophy.
And this is...
I mean, that's a good point. There really is no female philosophers. Holy shit, okay.
All of your favorite philosophers, even the recent ones that are female, are equally just as sexist.
Do you believe that there is going to be a day where there's going to be a female in the White House as president? And how do you feel about that?
I wouldn't vote.
There will never be a female president because I'm going to be real. Dude, Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton literally went up against a guy that people thought was Satan, and they still lost. We will never see a female president, at least not in my lifetime.
For her.
President. And how do you feel about that?
I wouldn't vote for her.
You would or wouldn't?
Would not.
You would not?
No.
But what does this mean? Because this is never mentioned in your philosophy course's favorite YouTubers, the professionals that study this, because deep down, they agree. But why? Does this mean the philosophers are still correct or
Man, what a interesting philosophy channel. What the fuck are we doing, man?
have times changed?
Hello, those are my teeth marks. The human being is spirit, but what is spirit? Spirit is a self, but what is a self? The self is a relation which relates to itself, or that in the relation which is it's relating to itself. The self is not the relation, but the relation's relating to itself. A human being is a synthesis of the infinite and of the finite, of the temporal and the eternal.
Did you guys understand that? Well, the point was, you were not supposed to, because there was nothing of substance that was said. There's a lot of performatism in today's world in terms of how intelligent...
The problem is that people say a whole bunch of incoherent garbage, hoping that people will put it together for them and come to a conclusion that they did not draw.
I am, because I can...
In order to seem mysterious and compelling.
Speak in a way so...
Like you? Bro, I make shit so fucking obvious that any retard could understand it. Like, I'm like, bro, like, subtlety to me is like subtlety with like those big flashing red lights in Hollywood with like 8 red arrows pointing right at it. Everybody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. I lay that shit out to where any motherfucker can understand it.
Eloquently, you cannot understand, but quite simply, that is just a sign of memorization and lack of ability to communicate.
This is why there are a lot of people who are really smart. They use a lot of jargon, and you can't quite follow their reasoning. You don't know how they're putting things together, and you have this deep down suspicion they don't even really understand. So if you look at the most powerful thinkers, especially the ones where money or life is on the line, they have to understand the basics really, really well. Richard Feynman, the famous physicist, he had this piece in one of his lectures where he takes you from counting numbers on your hand all the way to calculus in 4 pages. And it's a complete unbroken logical chain that takes you through pre-calculus, analytic geometry, graphs, everything, all the way to calculus. He understood numbers at a core level. He didn't have to memorize anything. When you're memorizing, it's an indication that you don't understand. You should be able to rederive anything on the spot. And if you can't, you don't know it.
Warning, this video is not meant to hate women. I love women, specifically Latinas, but...
Okay. I find it crazy that we talk about not hating women and then we show women at their lowest, most pathetic state, butt-ass naked, shaking their asses because that's all they can fucking do, bro. That's diabolical. Their most shameful state, bro. When people have to resort to throwing ass for sexual content because that's all they're good for, bro. Holy shit.
Truthfully, women cannot shut the fuck up about how they live longer, how they're more mature, more intelligent than men.
The reason why they live longer is because they don't have to deal with women and men do. That's what my grandpa used to always say, and my grandpa died first. He said, the reason why I'm gonna fucking die first is because I'm so goddamn stressed out from dealing with my fucking wife. And he would just sit in his chair and just drink beer all day, bro.
which, by the way, is actually factually correct.
Women are literally smarter than men because toxic masculinity holds men back from becoming emotionally mature.
I think one issue with modern dating that I haven't seen a lot of women talk about is the number of women who are disproportionately more educated than men. Between the ages of 25 and 34, women outnumber men in bachelor's degrees by 10%.
Educated, aka they heard this on Twitter.
But you see in the real world how men dominate every single field. Why are all the wisest people dead and now only preferring men? 100 million AI contracts with the G, how, who, you. Why is there not more women? Where's my diversity?
In a short synthesis, a synthesis is a relation between two terms. Looked at in this way, the human being is not yet a self. Soren Kierkegaard, The Sickness Unto Death. This book is very well loved and hated.
Banana Butthole III clenched his cheeks awaiting the tip of a real man. Is anything she is saying making any actual sense? Obviously not. And again, that is not the point. It's just to pretend that you are intelligent. And I don't want to slam dunk on this girl, but the theme of the video is that philosophers never respected women, especially when it came to philosophy and advanced sciences.
When the laws gave women equal rights with man, they ought to have also endowed her with a masculine intellect.
So the question is, were they
Is that AI Tectone's voice?
correct? Because we're now in the future where women are the most educated in terms of college. They are the ones that are the most enrolled. Men are actually becoming less educated. But statistically, men have a higher ceiling for IQ. Equally, men also have the lowest ceiling for IQ, and you can see this explained in a lot of statistics where men live the most diverse lives, as in they're the richest and equally they are the most poor. You can see this pattern occur in everything. And to preface, this is
Yeah, I was actually doing a research study on this where on average women are smarter than men, but they don't have any genius potential in comparison to men. We're like, with every 100 men are geniuses, there's one female. It's actually a very interesting phenomenon of like the breakout potential for men to be geniuses. It's very interesting.
very important to know, but all of these studies of men having larger variabilities in terms of IQ is also extremely old. This is where the argument comes up that, well, maybe it's because men had an education and women didn't, so it skewed the statistics. But remember, statistically, IQ is heritable, as in it is biological, as in it is something you were born with. That is why men are taller, that is why men are stronger, and it also equates to why they can be dumber and smarter. Also, I lied. There are a bunch of new studies, 2024, 2025, that proves the exact point of IQ variability, meaning...
Yikes! I love when video writers lie just to slam a point. Holy big W storytelling.
The philosopher saying women cannot reach the depths of advanced sciences is actually correct.
Oh, Brandon, would you be down to kiss? Yeah, I'll be down. Come here.
No, stop.
Sorry, that was the wrong clip, but
Jesus.
Here is Ayn Rand, a female philosopher.
Other than Jesus, no other figure has influenced more Americans than this woman right here, Ayn Rand. And I'm not kidding, there was literally a Library of Congress study that showed exactly that. Maybe that's a win for feminism? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you assume that Ayn Rand is this sort of like conservative American philosopher, but she wasn't. She was really a Russian playwright who was obsessed with a Hollywood who would not accept her. And right today, there are senators named after her, like my good friend right here, Rand Paul. But the most bizarre legacy of her influence, and this is something you probably won't hear most places, is her devout following in Hollywood. For instance, shortly before dying, Farrah Fawcett called Ayn Rand a literary genius. Angelina Jolie called her philosophy very, very interesting. Rob Lowe here said that her novel Atlas Shrugged is a stupendous achievement and that he just adores it. And this one killed me a little bit, but Eva Mendes said that anybody she dates has to be a fan of Ayn Rand.
So we're going to get into her beliefs and ideologies, but
never heard of her.
Before we even do that, you can tell by the comments, a lot of people don't like her.
Ayn Rand sucks. You shouldn't respect her. Let me tell you why. I wouldn't read this book again if I was stranded on a desert island for the rest of my life, and this was my only reading material.
Ayn Rand seemed profound when I was in the 8th grade, but as I got older, she seemed childish.
And why is that? She's like one of the most popular female philosophers, and they hate her. I will say though, it's a little ironic that there isn't a lot of female philosophers, and the philosophers that do hate women, which is all of them, also nobody likes the one that is the only one that's very popular. What does that say? What does that say? You guys actually think about that. But here's the truth. She's really good.
Ayn Rand is a writer and philosopher. Her philosophy is most dramatically expressed through the heroic characters in her 4 novels, of which The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged are the most famous.
Miss Rand, you have said that your primary purpose in writing is to project the ideal man. For those who may not have read Atlas Shrugged and have not yet met Hank Rearden or John Galt, how would you describe the ideal man?
6'6", micro penis, bald.
Ayn Rand and her main philosophy is something called objectivism. The core idea is that reality exists independently of anyone's feelings or wishes. I could tell that the girl from the TikTok is someone who takes a lot of pride in being better than men, more intelligent, and
I think this gap in education becomes very apparent in dating because you don't really want to text somebody who's constantly speaking with grammatical errors, who can't keep up with you intellectually, who's not good at like communicating their thoughts and like putting them into words and really concisely, effectively communicating them to you.
guess what? Again, statistically, that is true. But people also forget that men are objectively, statistically, better. And that sounds very rage-baity, provocative, but that's entirely the point of Ayn Rand, which is why so many people hate her. It's because she is an OG rage-baiter, which people forget that a lot of philosophers at the time, no one liked whatsoever. They would kill all the Greek philosophers because they did so much change. It's the same idea. Every philosopher is hated when they are alive, but after they die, they are revered, they are loved. Friedrich Nietzsche died irrelevant.
Yeah, but what if there was a philosopher that just like actually just fucking sucked? And he's like, oh dude, when I die, bro, I'm gonna blow up. Like, dude, I'm telling you, bro, like I'm gonna blow up when I die, it's gonna be peak. And everybody said, nah, that guy was just retarded. Anyways, let's burn all of his books. My opinion, bro, Marcus Aurelius, I will never stop glazing this fucking man. I think the literature that he puts out in Meditations is so important because what he does is he helps you come to terms with the cold, bittering reality of life and how to enjoy things more and what matters and what doesn't. Bro, his books are, his book is so good.
So, you know, hated, forgotten, not cared about. Ayn Rand is exactly the same.
What Rand offers is an inversion of the golden rule. Instead of love your neighbor as yourself, Rand instructs us to cut the middleman and just love yourself instead.
Interesting.
To Rand, altruism is evil, and selfishness should be rewarded.
I mean, to be honest, we do live in a world where selfishness is rewarded. I mean, that is how you get ahead in life. The more selfish you are, the better your life will be. Being a good person is very, very, very unrewarding.
The problem with philosophy content is that
put on a fucking shirt, woman. Holy fuck.
A bunch of them believe they are more intelligent than they actually are. What people don't understand about the biblical quote is, love thy neighbor as thyself. Thyself is the measuring stick, not an afterthought. It assumes there's already a baseline of care, dignity, and mercy you give yourself because think about it, how can you love someone more if you can't even love yourself first?
Facts.
That's what Ayn Rand is talking about because you need to be selfish for yourself if you actually want to contribute for society. How could
there are so many people who teach you to hate yourself, and like if you're confident and prideful of what you do, then you're a bad person. Then they say, oh, huge ego. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I'm my own #1 fan. I gas myself up non-fucking stop, bro. I'm very proud of the accomplishments I've done, right? But that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. Like, you're taught in the society to fucking hate yourself. And it's so exhausting. You know, you can't say you look good. You can't say you feel good. You can't say you did good because then you're an egotistical prick. Nah, bro. I don't need validation from anybody else, man. I know I'm a good-ass motherfucking dude. If somebody else says it, great. But nobody's going to change my mind because nobody knows me better than me.
you provide to the world if you're a homeless man trying to constantly help everyone else? You have no resources, you have no leverage, and it's quite simple to understand, but people get caught up in this game of I'm intelligent. I use the word altruism.
For many people, religion's a way of explaining the mysteries of life, the unknown things. Do you recognize no mysteries?
I don't believe that.
Another great quote is, you wouldn't fix a car with broken tools. Many people always try to go fix people when they themselves are still broken. So work on yourself, make sure that you're complete, and make sure that you're good before you try to fix anybody else's shit. Always focus on yourself.
Lack of knowledge is a license to start inventing fantasies.
And because everyone hates on the female philosopher that is purposefully being antagonistic, being very controversial, it's easy to feel smart and take the free win. But I think people need to understand her philosophy has existed forever. Rarely will a new thought ever be generated. You can't fill a cup or something from an empty cup. You get the idea, right? You need to help yourself first. You need to love yourself first before you can help other people.
Essentially the same analogy that I just gave out.
And the main idea with Ayn Rand is that you don't want to be someone who feels obligated to help other people because of societal pressures. You need to do it for your own self, for your own reason, which is to be selfish.
Donated is a year of clean water for someone in need. And
why the fuck is Asmund here? How? Why is there this bald goblin jump scaring me? What the fuck?
And, we're trying to raise money to get people clean water all around the world. It's, a big thing. People die from it. And we were just curious. Your friends here were saying you're a very generous soul.
Are you really gonna do this shit? I fucking did the McDonald's drive-thru, man. Is this gonna happen to me?
If you guys don't get it, Mr. Beast is guilt tripping a lot of celebrities doing on a live stream to donate money for his charity. But the problem is they don't want to donate the money. They're being forced to via obligation and social pressure into doing it. This is important to know because moral debt is a real thing. There are studies, even a Vsauce experimental video.
What we learn from moral psychology experiments doesn't always make humans look good. For example, today we're going to look at moral licensing. The theory that when you do something good...
I think the cringest shit about Mr. Beast raising all that money for Team Water is at the end of it, he said, I raised $5 million for water. It's like, bro, all you did was guilt trip hundreds of thousands of people to give you money. The fuck do you mean I? It's we, motherfucker. You didn't do, bro, all you did was guilt trip bitches.
You subconsciously feel you've earned a license to then do something bad.
Yep. The more good you do, the more you feel like you should be allowed to get away with evil. Especially for that, if that is why your pursuit of good is to excuse the atrocities you've done before and or after.
It is not a theory, and that is why it is so important to love yourself first and not live under obligations doing things other people want you to do rather than you yourself wanting it to do. Because if you're forced to do something good like donating money to a charity you don't give a fuck about, then maybe you will justify doing that good for the sake of doing something bad. AKA Ayn Rand is correct. Selfishness should be rewarded because it benefits society overall. Thank you for my TED Talk. Like, subscribe.
If a man's ever rude to you, just be an inconvenience.
Women remain children all their lives. They always see only what is near, think only of the present, and are incapable of looking far ahead. Their judgment is like that of a child. It lacks depth and is determined by immediate impressions.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is that way too many women react with their emotional brain rather than their logic brain. And I'm gonna be real, it's the same way with Twitter, bro. Everybody falls for the clickbait. Everybody reacts to the big headlines, and nobody thinks about shit.
That was fucking sick. Nah, I'll be 100% honest. That was a cool edit, but I think people forget that these philosophers do not hate women. They're making generalizations, which is factually correct, right? Does that make sense? There will be outliers, and those outliers will be the exception to the rule.
Of course.
That does not mean every type of woman you meet will be the...
It's like when people say that Asians are short, and then they're like, oh, that's not true. my buddy's Asian and he's 6'4". Like, people can't understand that's the exception, not the rule. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, motherfuckers like that are the lowest common denominator when it comes to IQ tests.
Beneath you because they're a little bit less intelligent statistically. But I think a lot of people forget that there is an average narcissism bias. If you look at the stats, ask a driver, the majority of drivers will believe they are better than the others. So when I present the fact that a lot of men could be more intelligent by, genetics, they assume, yeah, I'm the intelligent one. I'm the intelligent one. Probably not the one at the very bottom. But, take this information.
Hey, I got narcissism bias like a motherfucker, bro. That's the one emote I missed from Twitch, bro. Narcissist. God, that shit farmed.
Information as you will.
I was called that shit every single day because I understand my value as a human being and I love myself. People who love themselves are considered narcissists. It is horrific.
But here's the truth. That doesn't mean you discriminate against women. That doesn't mean you discriminate against men because they could be more intelligent or they could be dumber. The main idea is these guys were extremely ahead of their time. They don't have studies. A lot of their ideas came from just pure observation and interpretation. But here's the truth. The more we consume and use social media, you're degrading the part of your brain where you are thinking for yourself. I never went or enjoyed philosophy in college, high school. I never liked any of it because everything they taught were things I've already thought of myself. And this is very important because this is also the main philosophy towards the content you watch. The fuck? Do you think I watch YouTube videos about some British guy talking about philosophy? That's dumb as fuck. I'm being so serious. That is the dumbest thing you could possibly do because modern day philosophers no longer exist. You know why they don't exist? Because they're using all the actual teachings and learnings from philosophy in their real life, and they're all of the successful people. Does that make sense? It is a genuine trap to be stuck in this echo chamber of believing you are more intelligent based off of, I know philosophy, I know what altruism is. Oh, do you know how to pronounce Friedrich Nietzsche? I do. You Nietzsche? This guy. And I think it's very important to know that modern day philosophers are the ones that are actually applying the lessons. The fakes and fake intelligent people are the ones who pretend they are smart because they talk about it all the time rather than actually applying and putting themselves in situations where they fail and learn from it and become even smarter. Okay. So here's a
wise man once said, you learn more in defeat than you do in victory. Never take failure as a punishment, take it as an opportunity to grow. It's one of the best things, right? Because you can win and fuck up, but when you lose, it's also due to a fuck up. And those are the ones that you're more focused on trying to learn and adapt from. Rather than give up, just grow from your mistakes instead.
Very clear theme in this video. People pretend
That's a good-ass
to
video,
be
man.
intelligent by memorization, but interpretation and the ability to break it down into fundamentals is extremely important. This is why my videos are not targeted towards philosophy idiots, but people who haven't even been introduced to it. Because if your goal is to teach and leave a real impact, you wouldn't go to those who speak and think like you, but those who have never even considered to do so. Check out my ISO Speed video. Check out my Kanye West video. Kodak Black is a Clash Royale goblin. Who thinks of that? A real philosopher. But
oh, bro. Oh, why Kanye West is a philosophical genius and they put P. Diddy in the thumbnail. Bro, this sounds fucking I gotta subscribe, bro. Bro, that sounds awesome, bro. Everybody go subscribe to Rambo. What a great fucking video, man. That shit was insane.